I took an Uber home instead of sitting on a man's lap. My best friend Sarah recently got a new boyfriend, James, and she's completely obsessed with him. I've known Sarah for years, and we're very close. She's one of the few people I still hang out with regularly. Since meeting James, she's been spending most of her time with him and recently got introduced to his close-knit group of male friends. Not long after, she told me they were all planning a beach trip and begged me to come along. I declined multiple times. I didn't know any of these guys, wasn't in the mood to spend a full day with strangers, and didn't want to be a third or fifth wheel while she clung to her boyfriend. She kept insisting I come, saying she didn't want to be the only girl there and that it would mean a lot if I came along. After 4 separate requests, I gave in just to stop the nagging and let her enjoy her big beach day with James. She told me not to worry about transportation, that she had a ride figured out. On the day of the trip, she and I were the last to be picked up. A small 5-seater car pulled up, already containing 4 full-grown men, including James, who was driving. I immediately pointed out that there weren't enough seats. I thought this would be the natural end of my involvement, and that Sarah could just go enjoy her trip without me. But instead, she said she would sit on James's lap. James immediately said that wasn't happening. According to him, no one else was allowed to drive his car, so the only option was for me to sit on someone else's lap. I had never met these men before. I was being asked to climb into the back seat and spend an entire ride in physical contact with a stranger I didn't even know. I pulled Sarah aside and told her how uncomfortable I was. She brushed it off and encouraged me to go through with it, said I was overthinking, and that I might even have fun with the guys. I didn't want to ruin her day. She'd been looking forward to this trip for a week and clearly wasn't thinking about my comfort. So I climbed into the back and awkwardly sat on the guy who seemed to have the most legroom. What I had been told would be a 45-minute ride turned out to be a 90-minute drive to a much farther beach. That detail hadn't been mentioned until we were already on the road. The ride was unbearable. The guys were talking across me, leaning over me to talk to each other, brushing up against me constantly. It wasn't overtly creepy, but it was invasive and exhausting. I felt like an object wedged into their conversations, not a person. I couldn't relax. I sat frozen in place, fuming quietly, wishing I hadn't agreed to come. Once we got to the beach, I didn't join in. I ate the sandwich I brought, pulled out a book, and kept to myself. Sarah and James were glued to each other the entire time. The other guys joked around in the ocean. I was asked twice why I'd only packed food for myself, as if I was expected to contribute for a group I hadn't even planned to hang out with. No one had told me to bring anything, but apparently it was still noticed. When the day wrapped up and everyone began preparing to pile back into the car, I realized I couldn't do it again. I didn't want to spend another hour and a half squished on a stranger's lap, being treated like a backpack with legs. I quietly called an Uber. When it arrived, I let Sarah and James know I'd be heading home separately. Sarah was surprised, but I didn't give her much time to argue. I just left. A few hours later, Sarah called me angry. She said I ditched the group and made her look bad. When I told her how uncomfortable I'd been all day, how the whole experience had made me feel small and out of place, she said I was selfish, and that I'd been acting like a bitch the entire day.